Hello, everybody. This is Tiny Gamer King coming at you with another draft league. Um, we are the coach of the Nova Scotia Scythers. And this draft league we are doing is for the Great Lakes Draft League. This is a league actually that got me into drafts. This was the first one I was in. So it's definitely a big part of my drafts. This is going to be season 3 of um, the Great Lakes Draft League, and we've actually been in every season. So this season is for the season 9 of Generation 9, sorry, of the Pokemon. Any of the Pokemon that are eligible in Generation 9 we can use, including the Paradox and the Ruins, and then like Cinderace and Charizard. The only other things we can't use is the Legendaries. It's a 4-tier system, so they put the Pokemon in certain tiers based on how well they thought they would do. Some of them, I'm sure, are probably not in the right spots, depending on how they do. Just since it is a new generation, I'm no good at these tiered stuff. Like they say, it's a good spot for it. I'm sure it's a good spot for it. I'm sure there's lots of people that can get pretty good mons at a lower tier and use it really well. But we're going to try our best. We were in the Basca Legion division. There was 4 divisions. Basca Legion, Gyarados, Finizen, and Quailfish. So we got put in the Basque Legion. There was 12 people in our draft, so which was kind of nice. The other 3 had 14, I believe. So we definitely had the smallest division. You were allowed 11 picks in total. We couldn't do any more. We couldn't do any less. And then there was 6 Pokemon that you had to pick. 1 from tier 1, 2 from tier 2, 2 from tier 3, and 1 from tier 4. Then we got given 300 points to pick the remaining 5 Pokemon. So you could use them 300 points, whatever you wanted. You didn't have to use all the 300 points, but you couldn't go over the 300 points. So the tiers 1 were all equal to be 100 points after your mandatory 1. Tier 2 was 75 points after your 2 tier 2s. Tier 3 was 50 points after the 2 tier 3s you had to pick. And tier 4 was 25 points after the 1 you had to pick. So, we started the draft on Sunday and we finished on Tuesday. It was nice and quick. It was great. We didn't have to use a timer or anything. And we were the first division actually to be finished. This is wrong. I messed this up. I won't lie, I took this off. I cropped and pasted this from Wakeman's video. So it was a snake draft. It was 1 to 12, and then 12 to 1, and so on, and back and forth. I actually got first pick, which I've never had first pick out of the 12. So that was amazing. I really didn't know what I was going to do with that first pick. and um, definitely wanted to try to make it. So I drafted myself a pretty decent team, and do my best. I've had some really bad luck with drafts lately, so I'm really hoping Gen 9 will change that. So don't listen to that fifth pick. We got first. So I went into this thinking to myself, like I usually do, not knowing what I was going to do. Like I said before, I'm really bad at trying to pick value picks and things like that. I go in and I look at the mons and I just decide which mons I'd like to try to use. So my big thing is I wanted to try to draft a team that I've never, with Pokemon I've never drafted before. I figured this is Gen 9. Let's try getting a team we haven't used. Try to get as many of the new mons as possible that we could get. So, first pick I picked, knowing, because I am the first pick, that I could never get sniped for this first pick, which is great. I drafted Annihilate. Uh, Annihilate is it's a really good mod, and I think I'm glad I got it because there's no way if I didn't pick it first it would come back to me. It's definitely one of the top mods I think in the draft. So Annihilate was a tier 1. So that was our mandatory tier 1 that we got. After that, it would cost us points if we picked up a tier 1. So as you can see, like we have the stats down below. So there's HP 110, attack 115, defense 80, special attack 50, and both special defense and speed at 90. So this Pokemon's never going special. Like with this 50 special attack, you know it's not going special. It's only going to go physical. But even with that saying, like with it, and like the HP, is 110. Its defenses are 80 and 90, which the defenses aren't the greatest, but with its HP, um, and the defenses aren't too bad. We're still pretty bulky, which is great. 90 speed is definitely not the fastest, but still pretty good. And if we can get it under Tailwind, I figured it would be pretty good and quick if we can do that. Like didn't have any idea who I was gonna pick as a Tailwind, but I figured um, I would. Wasn't 100% sure, but I figured I would. So yes, that was our first pick. Now I had 24 more picks. I had to wait for 23 more picks, and then I could pick mine second pick. So I had to think of what I was gonna do. And by the time you get back to me, the two Pokemon at least the one Pokemon I was thinking got drafted. So like I was thinking of getting a Follow Me user and a DD, female, but it got drafted like I think 2 picks before me, so I didn't get it. So that got drafted, and then like the next pick after grabbed another Pokemon I was thinking of in Sylveon, so that got drafted. So I was like, what can I get? And then I was like, well, there's a great combo that I could grab. It's not the combo I wanted, but it was a great combo, and I think if it probably, if not, it could be better than the combo I was thinking. And the next Pokemon I picked up was Dodonzo. So Dodonzo is pure water. He's a huge HP with 150, great attack with 100, huge defense with 115, special attack is 65, special defense is 65, and speed is 30. Um, so it's pretty frail on the special side, not gonna lie. Um, but with what I'm gonna be doing with it, we can fix that up a little bit. So that's nice. So before we get too into talking about Dodonzo, we kind of should show the next Pokemon so we can talk about them both, really, because they go pretty good together, and that is going to be Tatsugiri. So Tatsugiri is Water Dragon, so it doubles up on our water, but that's fine. I think. So Tatsugiri has a nice, interesting ability, which is Commanded. And when it's paired up with Dondozo, it will pretty much gets eaten by not eaten, but gets put into Dondozo's mouth, protected, so he can't be hurt at all while he's in Dodonzo, unless he's been hit with a status move or something like that before Dodonzo puts him in his mouth. So, and when he does that, he boosts up Dodonzo's his stats by 2 stages for everything. So his HP will get +2, his attack +2, defense +2, special attack, special defense +2, and speed +2. So even though it has not the greatest special defense, it gets +2. So that's not bad whatsoever. So I'm pretty sure if it's +2, that doubles its defense. So technically it'll become a 130 special defense. So base special defense. So that is amazing. If I'm wrong with that, please let me know. But I'm pretty sure if it's +2, you double your stats. So that's great. So it's still not gonna have the greatest speed. It's a 70 speed, which isn't the greatest. But it also has a signature move called Order Up. And what that does, depending on which type of Tatsugiri we use, we can up one of our stats with the move Order Up. So what the Order Up does is it'll attack the opponent and do the damage, and of course, and then depending on the Tatsugiri we have, it'll up one of our stats. One does attack, one does speed, and one does. I think it's defenses. I don't know if it's both defenses or just one of the defenses. I'll have to look into that. Just so we can decide what we want. So, but the good thing about that ability as well is we can use it even if they protect and we don't do the damage. We still get the boost of whatever one we did. So if we have the attack, we might miss. They might protect, save themselves from the damage, but we're guaranteed to get +1 in our attack. If we do the speed, we're guaranteed to get +1 in our speed. So yes, we might miss the attack, but we'll still get the boost. So to me, that's pretty good. Like that's amazing. Like you uh, cannot be upset if you get a plus into one of your stats, even if you don't do the damage. Yes, you'd like the damage, but we don't get it. At least we get the stat boost. We do have to worry about like Pokemon bringing like haze or clear smog and things like that to get rid of our stats. But the thing about that too is just having Dondozo and Tatsugiri on my um, team sheet makes it so people have to prep for it. Have to. Like, if you don't, you kind of just ask to get swept by it. Like, that's what Dondozo and Tatsugiri can do. So, I thought it was great to pick these two Pokemon up. They were both in Tier 2, so that used up my two Tier 2 mandatory picks, which I was totally happy to do. And like I said, this might have been even a better um, picks than I was thinking, because I was, like I said, I was thinking of picking up DDF and Armor Rouge to do stuff with that. But actually, I'm really thinking, I'm happy I was able to get this um, instead, I think. It was like, can't go wrong with these two. And like, Dondozo's gonna hit really hard uh, if he gets a +2 stats. And if not, he can still like hit really hard even without Tatsugiri's ability. And if with a base 35 speed, we can get him into Trick Room, he can do some damage, and it would be, and it's still gonna do, people still gonna get some KO, get some knockouts with him. And then with Tatsugiri, even without Dondozo, he has a special attack of 120. Like, people can't deny that. Like, that's a huge attack. And like, has great moves. Can't think of all of them, but like, has like had some nice special like supporting moves with, even with like Icy Wind and that, which 120 Icy Wind is gonna do some nice damage. It has a speed of 82, special defense of 95, defense of 60, attack of 50, and HP of 68. So the attack isn't really no good at all. So doubt we're ever going to be bringing a physical Tatsugiri, but who knows. Defenses of 60, 95 aren't the greatest, but they're not too bad. HP 68, like again, not the greatest, but it's workable. Speed 82, like again, not the greatest speed tier, I don't think. But if we get into Tailwind, that's going to be really nice. And if we get him to Dondozo, we don't really have to worry about these stats too much, unless Dondozo goes down. We can have Choice Scarf and outspeed like a lot of people. We have Choice Scarf even without Tailwind. We can Specs it. It can still live some hits, and then Specs it with 120 special attack, but you can do some great damage. So that was my thoughts with my second and third pick. And because we were number one, we were able to get both picks back to back, which is nice. So then I had to wait again for another like 24 picks or so, whatever, 23 picks, before my next pick. So I had some time to think of what I wanted. And I was like, what can I get? So I decided that I had two waters. I was like, let's pick up a grass type to help with switch-ins with the Donzo and Tetsuki if need be. If the if the Donzo has Tetsuki in its mouth, we're locked in and we can't switch out anyways. But if not, I wanted a grass type to be able to switch into with any of them like electric type attacks that they might use on the Donzo. And also wanted not a conventional Trick Room setter, but I still wanted to pick up something that could set up Trick Room if need be. And this mon just seems like such a good mon to pick up. I'm actually surprised I was able to get it as my fourth pick. And that was Meowscarada. So Meowscarada is one of the starter Pokemon you can pick out Scarlet and Violet, and it has like it has a great, I guess it has its original ability with Overgrow, and it also has the hidden ability with the Protean. Like, and I know it got extremely nerfed this gen, but it's still not too bad. So Protean makes it so whatever move we use first, we turn into that typing. So if we use like an electric type attack, I don't even know if he has electric type. Well, he gets U-turn. So let's say we use a U-turn. It'll change into the bug type, make it stab, and do some extra damage to our opponent, and then switch out. So that's always nice with Protean. So we would lose our grass dark dark types, and we become just pure bug. And same with anything else we do. So whatever move we use, it changes it. As long as it's the first move we use. If we switch out and we come back in, we can change it up again. But whatever the move we use first, that's the type that Meowscarada becomes. And with its signature move, Flower Trick, it's a guaranteed crit. So like 110 attack, and you have Stab Grass, and you use this, and you do Flower Trick. With it being a crit, that's gonna do some good damage, even if you neutral to it. And depending on the people's builds, it can even do some nice damage to Pokemon that resist it. With an HP of 123, it's my fastest Mon. So we can, and that is a great speed too. That's the same speed as Noivern. So like that just shows like how quick this Mon is. So that's and then with it has like there's plenty of other moves like knockoff. Like I said, it's Trick Room, so we can use that as well. It's like Sucker Punch, which is nice. Pretty sure it gets Taunt if I remember right. So like it can be like a pretty supportive Mon as well. So that's good. And it gets like Helping Hand. It's one of the only Pokemon. Like, there's not too many, I don't think, anymore. But but it's one of the ones that still gets Ally Switch. So like, we can do some funny moves with that if we want. So, but yeah, like I think it's gonna be a really interesting mon to use. And in my opinion, like I'm always more of a grass starter, but in my opinion, it's definitely like the best of the three starters. Um, but like I said, I'm kind of biased because I think grass is usually better than any of the other starters. So I was happy to get this. So then the next pick I wanted um, was, I forget what it was, but it got it got sniped before I was able to pick up Masquerada. And since Sylveon got drafted, like second round, I wanted to pick up a fairy type. Um, so I was looking at the fairy types. Oh, and I forgot to say, Masquerada was a tier 1, so that used up my first set of points. So we had 300 points to start with. Um, so we were down to 200 points now. But yeah, so the next Pokemon I wanted to pick up was another fairy type. Not another fairy, but a fairy type. And since Sylveon got scooped up on me, I decided to go with another Pokemon I've never used before, and that was Screamtail. Um, Screamtail is like extremely bulky, like extremely. Like HP 115, defense 99, special defense 115 is great. It has a speed of 111, so it gets us still like gives us past the speed of 100. So like you can't go wrong with that. Both its attack and special attack are 65, which isn't the greatest. Not gonna lie, but with its HP and defenses and that, it can take some hits, and even if it's not doing huge damage, it's still gonna do some damage, and it's probably gonna get some knockouts. Because like we can definitely take some hits, and we'll just be slowly chipping off our opponent's Pokemon. It's very psychic. It gets Trick Room as well. So again, not ideal for Trick Room though. Like 111 for Trick Room is not good at all. But it has some nice supporting moves and like Encore and Imprison. So if we do go up to opponent that has Trick Room, we don't need to do Trick Room. We can just prison it, and with our bulk, we can make sure that they can't get up Trick Room. Um, so that is really nice, in my opinion. Uh, it gets both. I'm pretty sure both screens. So yes, we're not the um, we don't have like prankster or anything like that. But with a speed of 111, we're gonna be able to get up our screens in that pretty quickly in front of a lot of mons. So that's if we want to go that way, that is really nice. Um, it pretty much I think gets like, not saying I would use it for anything, but pretty much gets like all the weathers, I think. If not, like I'm pretty sure that, and it's like I think one of the only ones. Like I could be wrong with that, but it literally gets all four of the weathers. Like if I want to set up sand, I can. If I want to set up hail, sorry, snowscape now, I can. Rain dance and sunny day, like this is they're great. So like, if I really wanted to, um, what's his ability? His ability is the, oh my god, I can't think of it. It's the one that, yeah, photosynthesis. So it's the one with the sun. So if I don't want to use its item, I can sunny day and uh, don't have to put a boost energy on him, and he gets his boost. And most likely it's gonna be one of its defenses. So that's just gonna also make one of his defenses even better if I do that way. Um, so I was like, this is gonna be a pretty good mod. It gets like Calm Mind, so even though our special attack isn't the greatest, um, we can use Calm Mind, get up a special attack bonus, even ups our special defense, and because of our bulk, we can definitely take some hits and then set up and definitely get some damage done, and then. Uh, So I think it's going to be a really interesting mon. It gets Boom Burst as well. So we can set that up beside Annihilate and don't have to worry about doing damage to Annihilate and doing like a nice big chunk to opponent's Pokemon. But yeah, so that is Screamtail. So that was a back-to-back pick again, so we had to wait to get our next pick. And at this point, and Screamtail again was a tier 2, so we had to use some more of our points. So because we used tier 2, we were 75, so that left us with like 125 points left. So we definitely had to keep thinking about pretty close of what we were going to be getting with the rest of our points, since I already used up more than half with these first two picks. Not first two picks, but these two picks. So that was something I had to think about when I was going with my next Mon. And the next Mon I drafted actually will be using up points as well. And I actually really debated on this one. I really didn't know what what I wanted to get, and all I knew was I needed or wanted, I should say, a Tailwind Setter. But with the points I had and what was left, and there wasn't that many options for me. Um, so Pokemon I decided to draft was Vivillon. Um, Vivillon is bug flying. Again, it was a tier 2, so it used up another 75 of my points. So with the 3 Pokemon I drafted so far with points, we're like almost used up all of our points. I have 50 points left after picking up Vivillon, which I didn't really want to do, because that limited us to our last 2 months having to be tier 4. So, but I figured it was worth it. So Vivillon is really good because it gives us Rage Powder um, for redirection, which is really good. We can use Vivillon beside like Annihilate, do like Curse or Bulk Up. I don't know if we don't want Curse because it's a ghost type, but Bulk Up, and not sure if it gets any other like things, but we can use it to get Annihilate set up a little bit more, do some decent amount of damage extra. Um, but we can even use it against like with like Masquerada, so we can protect her. Some of the other mons we're gonna get after. So and then it has the ability Friend Guard, which is nice. Definitely wouldn't get too much use out of it with Vivian just because of its stats being so low. But Friend Guard makes it so the Pokemon beside it takes less damage, so that's always nice. Um, it gets Tailwind, um, so we can make it so our Pokemon do go quicker, like Annihilate, which with its speed stat of 90 would really appreciate it and make it so we can outspeed like a lot of the of our opponent's Pokemon. Like I said, Vivian isn't the bulkiest. And that so like with the HP of 80, defense 50, special defense 50, it's not living much, and it's 4 times weak to like Rock, which is a huge uh, like a lot of teams are gonna like most if not all teams are gonna have Rock, and even if they don't have a Rock Pokemon, like most Pokemon at least get some type of Rock type move. So that's not gonna be the greatest. So we might have to sash it a lot. I don't know. We'll have to see how that goes. But with a base speed of 89, it's not the quickest. But again, once we get Tailwind up, um, we can we can do pretty good. And with a special attack of 90, that's not bad. We can get a little bit of chip down on a Pokemon if we can need be. It has like moves like Sleep Powder. I don't know if it gets Hypnosis, but it definitely gets Sleep Powder. Um, so that's we may be able to put a Pokemon to sleep, and then our opponents don't. We don't have to worry about our defenses being so low because we um, they're asleep. I know sleep's not the greatest thing, but it is what it is. But was my thinking on Vivian. I knew I wanted a Trick Room. I knew I wanted a Rage Powder, not Trick Room, Tailwind user. I knew I wanted a Rage Powder user or a Follow Me user. But Follow Me, there's like no mons. There's like 3, I think, maybe 4 mons that actually get Follow Me, and they were way too high up in my the points. I couldn't afford them if they might even have been drafted by then. Like 2 of the mons that get Follow Me are Didi and that mouse. Can't even think of the mouse's name. Mousehold gets Follow Me. And like, probably like I think like 2 other mons maybe. So Rage Powder is definitely our best option. So we do have to worry about people either using goggles or and it won't work on grass types. So, and if they tail into a grass type, then it's not going to work against that as well. So it's definitely something we got to worry about when we use Vivian. But I think it's still going to be a good Pokemon to have and a good Pokemon to use. And like again, I'd never used it, so I was like, let's do it. So the next Pokemon I picked up right after Vivian was my tier 3. And the Pokemon I picked up was Salazzle. Salazzle's Poison Fire, which is a nice typing. It does give us 4 times weakness to ground, so we have to worry about that. But that's a thing for future self to worry about. It has a speed of 117, which I think is the second fastest fake out user. I could be wrong. I don't remember. But I picked up Slazzle because of how quick it was. I wanted a fake out user. Yes, it's pretty frail, so we have to worry about that when we bring it, especially depending on the other Pokemon we bring, like, because then I have to worry about like sashing Pokemon, and like both Pokemon like Vivillon and Salazzle would both appreciate a Focus Sash. So that is definitely something we got to think about when that comes. But with it being a base 117 attack, we're pretty much going to be getting fake out and things like that to our opponent. Special attack of 111, like that's going to do some nice damage to our opponent's Pokemon. And with its ability, like corrosion, we can toxic anything. Like steel types that are usually pretty bulky. If we want, we can toxic it, and which they usually wouldn't be able to get toxic, and we can make it so they get poisoned. So that's, in my opinion, is great, because then if we do go up against a team that has like some bulky mons, it'll slowly get chipped down from the toxic if we want to do that. And it'll also make people think secondly to switching into Salazzle with a steel type, because like if I think they're gonna switch it out into a steel type thinking, oh, they won't get hit, but they're gonna protect themselves from like a poison type, like let's say I send a poison type against the grass or a fairy type, they like, okay, let's switch in my steel type, this and that sludge bomb or sludge wave or whatever won't do any damage to us. Instead, I use a toxic. That'll hit, and then that Pokemon is going to begin chipped more and more each turn. So that was my thinking of Salazzle. And again, like I might have used Salazzle. I can't remember. Probably have, just because of how it is, but if I did, I definitely probably didn't use it right, so I'm hoping I can do it better than I did before. So with that, we have had 6 picks, 7 picks. We've had 7 picks so far, so we have 4 more picks to go. So we had to wait until our next pick to come up to do our next back-to-back wheel pick. And I was like, okay, what can I get for my team? Especially since, like I said before, I knew I had to pick 4 Mons still, and 2 of them had to be tier 4s, because that's all the points I had left for my Pokemon. And at this point, I could still get a tier 3 and a tier 4. So that means 3 of our Pokemon that are next picks would all have to be tier 4s. So I was looking at the Mons that I could pick. And the next Pokemon I picked was Lycanroc. So Lycanroc is a rock type. It's extremely quick. speed of 111 and 112. Uh, Attack with 115. Uh, Again, same with the next last couple months. It's kind of frail on the defenses, so it's coming in, doing some damage, and probably not lasting a turn, more than a couple turns. But that's all we need. With an attack of 115 and a special attack of 112, not special attack, speed of 112, we go in quick, do some damage, and it's out. HP 75 isn't the worst, but like I said, with defenses, it's not doing too much with that. But with the next mod I picked up with it, it will help it out a little bit with its defenses because of its abilities sometimes. But we picked up Hippopotas. I'm sure I destroyed that name. Because it has the ability Sandstream, so it'll come. We can bring it out. It automatically sets up the sand, which will help Lycanroc's special defense, which is nice. I don't know how exactly that works, to tell you the truth. I just know that it does. I'm pretty sure it does. If I'm wrong, let me know. It ups the special defense a little bit in the sand. With Lycanroc, it also has the ability Sand Rush. So our 112 just got a lot higher, and there's like not too many Pokemon that would be able to without. I don't think there is any Pokemon that without a sash. I mean a scarf could outspeed us in the sand. So we are going to be doing some major damage with Lycanroc in the sand. Then we got Hippopotas with and then you stick an Eviolite on it, and it's even with an Eviolite, it can take some pretty good damage. Like we can live some nice hits, so that's more than I was expecting, to tell you the truth, from what I could quickly looked up, quickly did on it. So I was nice. With a speed of 32, we can use it in Trick Room if we want. Doesn't have the greatest attacking stuff, so that's something, but it has a good set of move stuff. Like it has Yawn, so we can put our Pokemon to sleep, or at least make them drowsy, and then they have to decide to either switch it out or decide to let it fall asleep. So that was what I thought. I figured that would be nice, and makes the opponent figure things like out. So a little like having to decide that. Like, do you want to switch it out to and not fall asleep? Because then something else is going to come in, and that's a guaranteed damage to that Pokemon because they can't protect. Or do you let it stay in and let it fall asleep? So that is just something that they have to think about when that situation comes up. It has like body press, which if we pop up its defenses with like iron defense and that, like I'm pretty sure it gets iron defense. It definitely gets curse. So I know for a fact we can get its defenses up. And then use body press, and that's gonna do some nice damage to our opponent. Because with its defense stat, which isn't the greatest, but it's still 78, so like just a little higher than its attack. we can definitely do a little bit of a damage to our opponents. So that was our last mandatory tier pick. So the last Pokemon, two Pokemon we used, I had to use my points. And like I said, I only had 50 points left. So I had to take two tier 4s. So with that saying, I was like looking at the tier 4s, and I said to myself, what can I get that I that I would think I would use? Because I wanted to draft Pokemon that I would use. I didn't want to draft a Pokemon that would be useless. Like, why draft a Pokemon for just to sit on the sidelines and never get used? So I looked at the list, and I was like, okay, what do I want, and what can I get for my 50 points? So for the first 25 points, I picked up Zangoose. So Zangoose is normal, so it has one weakness in fighting. Hey guys, sorry about that, I had to quickly run. So, yeah, like I was saying, so Zangoose only has one weakness in fighting, um, and it's immune to Ghost. We can't do any damage, like normal moves can't do any damage to Ghost, but it's also doesn't get hit by a Ghost. And everything else hits us neutral. So that's nice. Um, Especially with our defenses and HP not being the greatest again. Um, but because everything hits us neutral, we can do we can live some hits. With an attack of 115, it's going to do some nice damage to our opponent, which is always nice as well. And it being normal, I can't tell you exactly what it has, but like normal type Pokemon usually have a very wide range of moves it can use. That's always nice. It does have abilities as in like it has immunity, so we can't be poisoned. So which is nice. It also has toxic boost, which is kind of like guts, but you use toxic. You'd be toxic instead of burned. So if we are toxic, for one, we don't have to worry about getting any other status done to us. And as well, our attack is boosted as well, which with it being 115, getting like a +1 to your attack is nice. We do have to worry about like taking considerate damage from a toxic or poison, which is definitely worse in my opinion than like guts, burn, because burn doesn't take as much damage as poison or toxic does. But that is definitely an option we can do. And then if we get up like Trick Room with the base attack, base speed of 90, we are going to outspeed a lot of mons. And with us hitting, with its move pool we can use, we can do some nice damage. Like it gets like Shadow Claw a night slash, I believe. So like, and other things like that. So we got some, and then so we can do some like good damage. And I think Zangoose is a mon that I will use in this season. So I was really happy to pick that up. So the final Pokemon I am bringing, or that I drafted, that ended my draft, was Magneton. So Magneton is another Eviolite user, which gives us two Eviolite users. So that's definitely something we have to think about when, if I use them both on 1 week. I gotta figure out which one I want to use the Eviolite on. It's also a steel type, of course, so in the sand it will get a boost, which is nice. And with us having Slazzle, I can switch out mine and not worry about my steel type and not worry about getting poisoned from anything. I don't think anyone else gets corrosion. Could be wrong. Oh yeah, Glamora gets corrosion. But I'm guessing most people will use toxic debris with Glamora. So just so they can get up the, if something attacks them, they can get up the spikes. But yeah, so in most cases, and then there's like one team that has Glamora, so that would be something I have to think about then. But other than that, then I don't have to worry. I can switch it out and not worry about getting poisoned or hit super effective. So like if let's say I have Meowscarada out, I can switch in Magneton, and I don't have to worry because like things that are super effective against the things that are super effective against Meowscarada, Magneton takes it. Like flying, it resists flying. It's immune to poison. The chances are they're not gonna use a ground type move into Meowstic. Meowscarada, since it's grass. So I don't really have to worry about being 4 times weak to switching into a ground type move if I do that. And even if I do it, like it has like sturdy, so we can make sure we do live 1 hit, so that's always nice. It has discharge, so we could put it beside Hippopotamus or whatever and do like discharge earthquake. Like, and with its special attack, it's going to be pretty good. Yes, our ground type isn't the strongest, but it's still do a little bit of chip if we do that, and we don't have to like we'd be doing probably more damage to ourselves than our opponent if we did do the earthquake. But we do guarantee to live 1 hit if we have to do that option, which is probably not going to happen, but it is. Not too many people want to take a discharge and an earthquake, so it might be worth hurting ourselves to doing that. But that's just a thing that we have to think about when that comes up. Speed of 70 is not the quickest, but again, if we get Tailwind up, it's pretty good. And if we get Trick Room, we could make Magneton work in Trick Room. I think. So that's an option. Um, Special defense is 70, defensive 95, and HP of 50. It's not the most bulky, but it's still pretty bulky, especially in its defenses. And if we get Eviolite on it, that even makes it even better. So that's definitely an option. So that's the team I drafted. I I think I did extremely well in my draft. Everyone think in the draft thinks like my team is like busted. Um, I just hope I can um, use this team to the standards that it deserves to be used at, um, and that we can definitely uh, like do really well. I think this season, and I think with this team, there's an extremely good chance that we can make playoffs as long as I don't fuck it up. So I know there is definitely some weaknesses in our team, like the defenses. We have a few mons that are pretty uh, weak in the defenses, but they're doable. And if we use items and things like that properly, we we can uh, we can work around that. I think. Um, Again, we're a little lackluster on the trick room, so that's definitely another thing I have to keep an eye on. Um, but it's something we can work around. Like I said, we have Screamtail, which we can imprison and stop trick rooms if need be. But even if we do get up, like the Donzo is gonna hit hard, and in trick room with a base speed of 35, we are going to outspeed in trick room against a lot of mons. So that's definitely uh, something I think we can work around. We have fake out with Slazzle, so we can fake out, and with a base speed of 117, um, we can outspeed a lot of the follow me users unless they're scuffed, um, which is nice because um, as long as we outspeed them, even if they use follow me, they're not gonna get it up. And so, like I said, I think there's only like 4 mons, three. Who has follow? Yeah, it's only like 3 mons. There's Melsold and Didi and Pachirisu, right? There's no one else, right? I don't think so. And so we outspeed all of them, but um, Ndidi does have Psychic Surge, so we wouldn't be able to fake out in that. Um, but either way, that's we outspeed Mousehold and we outspeed Pachirisu. So follow me wouldn't work in. So if they try to like follow me and set up Trick Room, we have Salazzle that can stop the Trick Room. So that is something that people got to think about. Like, yes, you can get Trick Room, but will you be able to? And it's like, again, like we have some pretty strong mons, so like they we can do some good damage to the team even before they get the Trick Room up if need be. So that is the team. Um, hope you guys like it. Like I said, I hope I can do this team justice in this season. There is some pretty strong opponents in my division, and then there's a lot of unknowns. GLDL had got a lot of new people this season, so uh, um, I have a lot of people I've never battled, so who knows how they are. So I think this will be a great season, and I am extremely looking forward to doing it. Um, and hopefully, you guys will enjoy the videos that come after this. Um, if you have any comments or anything like that that you want to put down below, put them down below. I'd really appreciate it. I do get back to everybody that messages me. So that is something. You can hit the like and subscribe. That would be really appreciated. It would be definitely nice to get some more people watching. And we will see you guys in week 1 of the GLDL. Until then, have a great day.